I appear in my personal capacity as an Indian citizen, and my testimony reflects only my own views as an analyst of international relations. The US-India partnership has strengthened considerably since 1998. From severe US sanctions following India's nuclear tests, we've come a long way. Congress was instrumental in enabling the lifting of those sanctions under Bill Clinton and in passing legislation in 2006 to enable civilian nuclear commerce with India under George W. Bush. Congress has also supported the major defense partnership under President Obama and the resurrection of the Quad under Presidents Trump and Biden. In India, 3 successive prime ministers over the past 27 years have invested in a closer partnership with the United States. Today, that strategic partnership is very significant. The 2 countries have signed a series of agreements on military logistics, supply, and information sharing. All 3 military services have done military exercises this year. US sales of defense equipment to India have also grown, and India now operates 10 major US defense platforms. So why have 5 US presidents and 3 Indian prime ministers invested in this relationship over 27 years? The first major impetus for better relations has been economic opportunities for both countries. The figure of $212 billion in goods and services trade arguably understates the importance of the economic relationship for both countries. Taken together, Indian investors, importers, entrepreneurs, students, AI researchers, doctors, and tourists contribute conservatively over $200 billion to the US economy and are responsible for at least 830,000 American jobs in every one of the 50 states and territories. The second rationale for closer ties has been strategic, related to China's rise and assertiveness in the Indo-Pacific. In recent years, China has expanded and modernized its nuclear arsenal, undertaken one of the largest naval buildups in its history, and unveiled new unmanned and cyber systems. In 2020, a major mobilization by the PLA resulted in clashes in which 20 Indian military personnel lost their lives. China has also developed a network of potentially dual-use ports across the Indo-Pacific and beyond that might be used to secure critical choke points. The Indian Navy, as a result, has stepped up, increased the tempo of its patrols, and contributed to maritime burden sharing in the Indian Ocean and Pacific. Both the United States and India also have enormous trade deficits with China, $296 billion in the case of the United States, $99 billion in the case of India. And China's rare earth export restrictions have reinforced concerns about supply chain concentration as leverage with competitors. Another area of strategic convergence between the United States and India has involved stabilizing the Middle East. The Abraham Accords, brokered by the first Trump administration, enabled an economic dialogue involving India, Israel, the UAE, and the United States. And more ambitiously, India and the US have plans for an India-Middle East-Europe economic corridor. However, this considerable progress in consolidating the relationship is now at a political standstill. The biggest obstacle concerns tariffs. President Trump's desire to balance trade with India and access India's market is precisely what India is offering. India has signed 5 trade agreements in recent years and is actively negotiating at least 5 more. A solution to trade and tariff differences between the United States and India is therefore at hand. The second challenge in India relates to the United States' renewed engagement with Pakistan's military leadership. Pakistan has a long and well-documented history of using non-state terrorist proxies against India. As a result over many years, India's experience is that third-party mediation has often contributed to Pakistan's adventurism. And so the United States has pursued a policy of dehyphenation between India and Pakistan, engaging with both, but minimizing involvement in their disputes. There remains considerable progress for future collaboration should differences over trade and Pakistan be successfully managed between the United States and India. The outline of what is possible was spelled out by President Trump and Prime Minister Modi in February. This includes $500 billion in trade by 2030, which will be facilitated by a bilateral trade agreement. The United States is now a major provider of oil and gas to India, and coal exports have also increased, and civil nuclear cooperation is possible, as is cooperation on defense, on AI, and a variety of other emerging technologies. There's also the possibility of cooperation on the Quad and in the Middle East. The written testimony that I've submitted contains significantly more detail concerning the value of the US-India commercial partnership, India's challenges with China and Pakistan, the ongoing trade negotiations, the India-Russia relationship, and the considerable potential for US-India collaboration on trade, defense, technology, and energy.